Yeah. I remember having to explain to my mother the difference between internet and email. No, you're supposed to write at AOL after. Like, come on. Okay, let's do some quick housekeeping. Everyone's got a binder, yes?
Yes,
All right, everyone's in the WhatsApp chat?
yes.
Okay, so I believe that I have sent a text to everybody that invites you to download WhatsApp if you don't already have it, and that will immediately put you into this Roswell PC group. Devin, with the exception of you. I'll do that right after. Okay, so please check that. Go ahead and start to be watching the WhatsApp group.
You said you sent a text to us? Because I didn't get it.
I might have sent an email to you because it was a couple days earlier.
It's called Roswell PC.
Yes. You haven't received it?
I don't think.
I have not received it. All right. I will double check all of that. What is, actually, if I don't do it right now, it may not happen. Okay. Donna, what's your cell?
770-733-8566.
Got it.
8564.
All right, just sent it to you. Anyone else missing it? What is your cell?
678-467-8839.
Okay, it was sent to you. I can send it again if you want, but.
Okay.
678-467-8839, yes? Okay. Everyone else good? All right. This morning I'm setting up a Google Drive. Google Drive will be invite only. And that will I'll start to upload some scripts. I'll start to upload some of the hard copies of the doc files that I've been sharing and some tools as you're launching and growing your business. So if you have any requests for something that you're not clear about, that you can't find, whatever it is, just ask. I'm sure I've got it. I'll put it where it needs to be. My request is that you keep that basically to the people that are in the PC group, right?
Proprietary.
It's proprietary for those that have committed to being here and learning.
And like
Okay.
big words.
I'm sorry?
And like big words.
Exactly, like productivity,
Yes.
right?
Profitability.
Ooh, that's even bigger, I think, right? Does that have more words in it?
I don't know, but it's just,
All right, or letters in it, I mean. Okay, let's talk about YouTube for a second. YouTube. Yesterday I created a second channel on my YouTube page, and we are currently uploading the videos from yesterday. There's a video on 411, there's a video on 135. Both of those will be on there, and all of these videos will be on there. My intention is to record everything. As we build up our library, there's a few points. There's a few goals for recording things. Number one is you can revisit it when you need to. You can revisit it as your business grows. You can watch it if you weren't able to attend. You can watch it again and take notes if you missed something. And somewhat of a selfish reason for recording it is that it gives me a chance to minimize the number of times that I explain the same thing over and over again, right? So that I can help explain something different to you next time. Yes, ma'am.
that would be a system, wouldn't it?
That's right, Marie. That's a great. That's a great
If you have to do
thought.
it, right?
If you have to do something more than once, you've been my star student so far.
So
One of my star students.
And profitability does have one more letter than productivity.
She's gonna keep going.
All right. So what I mean by that is I'm setting examples for you in terms of systems. So people are asking for different documents at different times. What do? We throw them all together, and we make sure you know how to access them. That's a system, right? Donna, did you have a question?
I did. Is your YouTube page just your name?
Yes,
That was my original page, and this one, I think we called it Roswell Productivity Coaching. I think I've got it set at private right now, so you probably can't find it. I'll have to send you an invite to it specifically. And I'll be grouping things so that it's a little easier to navigate around in there, okay? Okay. Today, I want to talk a little bit about, any other questions? So we're gonna start to, oh, and the other thing is, everyone should have received a Ramp Up link. Has everyone received a Ramp Up link? Except for you, Tevin. We'll get that to you this morning. Okay, so,
What did you send it to me under? My personal AOL?
yeah,
Okay.
Wrong
I
email?
didn't check it. I just.
I
started
sent it to the
using-
KW one that I had, and it bounced.
Is it SF? That was
I'll have
off
to
of
look
K-
again.
It's S.F at KW.com now, but I'll check my personal email. I didn't check it.
Okay, and if there's a better email, just give it to me, I'll change everything, and that'll be your new email
Okay,
going forward.
will do.
Okay. So WhatsApp group, YouTube, Google Drive, Ramp Up. Okay, make sure you have access to all of those things, some of which will be worked on today. Okay, the binder. We're gonna start going through the binder bit by bit. We'll probably spend a little bit of time each morning, looking at a couple pages, okay? My intention is for that to be a kind of a guide for you that's also broken down into weeks, so you can start to do some of the activities that they recommend, and we'll kind of touch on some, I'll flow through it also together. All right, so I want to speak for a minute today about activities. We've done a lot of talking about technology and cow breeding and 411s and all this stuff, and it's possible that you could have come in here all day and sat in a class and not done a damn thing that leads your business forward. So let's talk a little bit about, have we experienced any really cool successes this week based on our activities? Marie, I know you have. Would you like to share with the room?
I would be delighted to share with the room. It's hard for me to turn around because I grew up Catholic, so the nuns would hit me. So,
I was gonna say, I don't know what that means, actually.
Catholics don't turn around in church.
Oh.
You do not look behind you.
Oh, that's news
Okay,
to me.
Well, because you're not Catholic, you're a Jew. So anyway, I have added 5 people to my database this week.
Nice.
5, which, yeah, and thank you. And I have set up a listing appointment for tomorrow at 4 o'clock.
Beautiful. Can you tell us a little bit about that seller? Where did you find that person?
It's a Met, someone in my database. I have,
Wait, you mean somebody in your database wants to sell a home?
well, yes, because her father
Whoa.
dropped dead. So we have to sell his condo. So she is, actually, I've known her for several years. She's a pet sitter and a dog trainer. She's been in my database for years. She and her husband both been in my house and taken care of my pets when I was away. I have been,
So you're you're building the relationship with no intention of being their realtor? Good. I mean, they know what you do.
We've talked about, they have a home that they bought years ago that they're renovating, like walking distance to downtown Alpharetta. So I've kept them abreast of what that property is worth.
Beautiful.
And I had no clue that, I follow them on Facebook religiously, and I had no idea. I knew her father had died, and I knew she was grieving terribly. And I received an email the other day saying that they would like to talk to me about helping them sell her dad's condo.
Beautiful.
That's
So that is coming from contribution, and she clearly had some form of a system in place to make sure that on a strategic and periodic basis, she was touching on that person and giving them the data that they needed. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
And then what happens? You get paid.
Well, yes, first she needs me to sell her condo, but she doesn't know what to do about, he didn't have a will, and she doesn't know what to do about probate, so I screenshotted what she asked me to Kern, and Kern answered me right away and said, here's what she needs to do, this, and here's who can help her, call this guy.
Well, that's easy. Does everyone know who Kern is? Okay.
And O'Kelly and
Kern's
Sorian.
our O'Kelly and Sorian rep, attorney rep for closing attorneys.
Kern gave me the system that my client April needs to put in place to get her father's affairs in order so that we can sell the condo.
Okay, I want to hammer home a couple of points here. Both of these are pretty obvious, I think, but I'll hammer them anyway. Number one is Kern has a system for sharing people's data, so that delivers value to not only the person she's referring, like if it's some other type of attorney, also to Marie. And the other cool part about it is Marie will never ask Kern that question again, because Marie is resourceful, and if Marie has another client in a year that needs has a similar need, she'll just go back to that reference in her text, or now that person's probably in her database because she'll introduce her and say, hey, I work the North Metro Atlanta area. I happen to work in a lot of these situations, and it's not going to be uncommon if I get another one of these situations, and I'll probably support you again. So I just want you to know who I am and what I do, right? So not only did you help your client, you helped Kern, you helped the referral source, and now y'all forge a relationship, and you got one more person in your database.
That's true.
And you got a piece
Phil
of
Erickson
business.
with oslawllc.com.
Oh, that guy's in my database. No,
Oh,
I'm
he's
just
gonna
playing.
be-
He ain't in my database.
Interestingly enough, just since we're bringing up Kern Schwartz, I have called her during the times when I did a Bold 100 and was absolutely positively desperate to have a human being talk to. And Kern has told me that no one asks her for referrals.
That's right. Guys, there's no one that can't help you.
No one asks her. Kern does nothing but deal with realtors all day long, and she says no one asks her for referrals.
Right. They say that about a lot of the really, really top performers, right? Let's say I went up to, I don't know, one of the guys at Century 21 or something. There's one guy that sells a ton of homes. He doesn't get approached. I called him, but most people don't call him.
Right?
Right, but he never gets approached.
But I mean, look at how many vendor partners we have in this office. Every one of those people should be in our databases.
That's right. And the person who delivers the best experience as a realtor working with that person will probably be the one they choose, right? I used to have a flooring guy, carpet, hardwoods, all that kind of stuff. And he really understood the concepts of referring people. And he was very specific on, he wanted me to explain to him how I wanted him to recommend me to other people. Does everyone follow that?
Yeah, that's
Like,
how,
right.
teach me how to be your core advocate.
Exactly. And so he would go into somebody's house, and he's given a quote for, tile or hardwoods or whatever, and he'd ask the question, so what are we doing this for? Somebody died, we need to sell the house. Got too many kids, house is too big. Don't have enough kids, house too small, whatever, right? Oh, well, here's somebody's information I want you to call. His name is Bill, best realtor in town. Look at me, Marie. Do not make a real estate decision without talking to him.
Right.
Are
In
you
fact,
clear?
here, give me your phone, put it, Bill in,
Are you clear?
clear,
Sure.
crystal,
No decisions without talking to Bill. Clear?
understood.
Okay. See what I'm saying? Imagine if you had like
I'm
50
picking
different
up what you're
vendors
putting down, dude.
out there that believed in you so much that they go around town looking for people to help. Does that make sense? Okay. Now, Marie, you don't typically add 5 people to your database every week, is that right?
No, I typically do not.
Okay. So what did you do this week differently that became possible?
I looked for them. Actually, I've added 6 people to my database, to be honest with you. 2 things. One, one of my avocations, when you're not vocating, you're advocating, I believe. Hobbies. One of the things that gives me and my husband great pleasure is we are in the foster kitten business. We take foster kittens from a specific rescue. I keep them until they weigh 2 pounds, and then we have them spayed, neutered, and then we take them and they get adopted.
You know, there's a cat somewhere out there in Roswell somewhere that's named Billy.
Yep. Yeah,
She named one after me.
yeah, I did. And and Aaron and Lucy got adopted together.
Right.
Anyway, I started thinking about all the people that I know that are involved with this particular rescue, like Sherry and Laura and Divya and that I speak to on Facebook. And so I asked them, do they have realtors? Well, Sherry's husband's a retired realtor. The rest of them don't. I put Sherry in there anyway and told her that, I'll be glad to pay, because her husband's retired, I'll be glad to take his clients and pay him 26.2% since his license is still viable.
Mhm.
And the rest of them don't have realtors, so I have added them to my database. Then I have attended the All Things Listings class with
Don't
Andy.
just add them, by the way.
No,
They need to know they're added.
they are.
Okay.
I asked him first, that's what I
Okay,
said, I asked
got-
him first.
I just want to make sure, okay.
Okay, Divya said to limit the amount of emails because she gets 300 a day asking for help with kittens. So we came up with a telephone plan to keep her update on what's going on with
Love
her
it.
neighborhood.
Love it.
Then I attended the class with Andy Peters on All Things Listings, and he said something that was in my opinion, $1 million idea, and that was the concept of orphan clients. When somebody buys my listing, once that transaction is over, that person is fair game. The odds are that agent won't be in touch with them again, their agent. So I'm fortunate enough to have 442 loops in dot loop, so there's probably, I don't know.
And probably another at least 450-something clients that you transacted business before they had the internet.
That's true. So that is a vast pool of people for me to look to go back and re-engage.
Right. And by the way, like, you could start a Facebook group for Atlanta Rescue Kitten Society or something like that and start to meet some strangers. When it's time to drop off the kitten, you could wear your Keller Williams hat or your Keller Williams jacket or a name tag. Right? So just think about how you can let groups of people know you're an agent in settings that don't feel salesy. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
The relationships develop organically, I guess is the best way to describe it.
That's right.
Because I'm coming from, look, there's no money to be made in kitten rescue, let's put it that way. It doesn't pay well, but it's a contribution thing. So I'm already coming from contribution, so I'm not seen as salesy to begin with.
Yeah, but if this is the kitten rescue, and you don't get any cash for that.
Right, I get from
you
the
get-
other way.
You get cash from all the relationships you build. from it.
Correct, right. Because, okay,
Right.
so one of the kitten rescue people has a mother who's in, strangely enough, dog rescue. She had a dog who was undergoing chemo and could no longer climb stairs. So we bought a house for that. She bought a house from me for the dog.
People need houses for all kinds of reasons, right? Now, let's say, for example, that transaction was having some hiccups. Okay, remember, it's very important that you know exactly why that buyer is buying or that seller is selling. Not just, I have to move. You gotta make it a little bit painful, right? Why do you have to move? Oh, your wife took a job in Chicago 3 months ago and you hadn't seen her since? Okay, don't forget to remind them, like, every day how painful that is so that they'll listen to you better, right? So, and if they have to buy a home to get their kids in the right school district, you might have to remind them that they told you that several times so that they quit not listening, or they don't make a big fuss over a backward electrical outlet or something, right? We're trying to buy this house so that you can get
Taking
your
them
kids in
back
the
to
right school
motivation.
district. But worrying about a backward electrical outlet, we're gonna get that fixed, okay? Those are cheap to fix, it's not a tragedy, it's done, okay? It's not an emergency. We'll get it done, but it ain't gonna fall, the house ain't falling over, okay? What I want you guys to do over the course of the weekend is to write down your intentions for next week. What is your real estate organization going to do, no matter what, next week? So here are a couple things I want you to target.
My
Actually,
birthday.
let's just keep it simple. Happy birthday.
My birthday's Monday, so
How's 30 gonna feel?
let's see.
30th anniversary of it?
Oh, more than that. Let's not go there. It's the 33rd anniversary of my 34th anniversary of my 29th birthday.
All right.
And I'm registered at Tiffany's and Target in case anybody's interested.
Tiffany's Target.
I like to give people options.
You crack me up.
I know.
You crack me up. All right, so
It's
let's keep it real simple.
part of my
Um,
reason for being.
actually, let's do three things. One is how many people am I going to add to my database? Two, how many minutes am I going to spend learning more about command? Okay.
I have a question about that.
And one other thing, and how many minutes am I going to spend reviewing scripts? Okay, I'll put some scripts in the folder today, and I want you to start reviewing those. Okay, what's your question?
How many minutes learning command, does that mean watching videos, or actually, can it mean actually doing it and getting more familiar with it? Or does that matter?
Either, they're the same thing to me.
Okay,
If it's something you don't understand, you need to figure out how to do it. If you learn better by breaking things, then break them. If you learn
I
things
do.
better by watching a video, watch the video. Makes
Got
a
it.
difference to me.
thank you.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay. Let's see.
Those
All right,
are
I want to play. So I have a new favorite podcast that I want to share with you guys. It is called, I think the way to pronounce it is Naval. It's Naval.
didn't we just talk about that the other day?
Yeah, I mentioned it
Somewhere?
in a team meeting the other day.
What's that?
Okay.
Looks
Naval.
like naval.
Naval.
Isn't that naval?
It, yeah, but I think Divya doesn't want to be called naval.
Isn't that naval? Okay.
Okay, so I want to play. The coolest part about this is that the
Naval.
particular videos or whatever are only like 5 minutes long or 4 minutes long, so it's really easy to like, grab one here and there. And he talks about a lot of
Naval.
really interesting stuff. So I want to let you listen to one that I listened to on the ride in today, and I want you to picture kind of this evolution, and the evolution is basically from, it's the evolution of your skill, and as your skill evolves, what type of accountability, what type of opportunity, and what type of leverage you gain as your skill evolves. Okay, so.
The tweet storm is very abstract. It's deliberately meant to be broadly applicable to all kinds of different domains and disciplines and time periods and places. But sometimes it's hard to work without concrete example. So let's just go concrete for a minute. Look at the real estate business. You could start at the bottom. Let's say you're a day laborer. You come in, you fix people's houses. Someone orders you around, tells you break that piece of rock, sand that piece of wood, put that thing over there. There's just all these menial jobs that go on a construction site. If you're working one of those jobs, unless you're a skilled trade, like say a carpenter or electrician, you don't really have specific knowledge. And even carpenter or electrician is not that specific because other people can be trained how to do it, so you can be replaced. So you get paid your 15, 20, 25, 50, if you're really lucky, $75 an hour, but that's about it. You don't have any leverage other than from the tools that you're using. So if you're driving a bulldozer, that's better than doing it with your hands. So day labor in India makes a lot less because they have no tool leverage. You don't have much accountability. You're a faceless cog in the construction crew, and the owner of the house or the buyer of the house doesn't know or care that you worked on it. One step up from that, you might have a contractor, like a general contractor, who someone hires to come and fix and repair and build up their house. That general contractor is taking accountability, they're taking responsibility. So now, if let's say they got paid $250,000 for the job, sorry, I'm using Bay Area prices, so maybe I'll go rest of the world prices, $100,000 for the job to fix up a house, and it actually costs the general contractor all said and done $70,000. Well, that contractor is going to pocket that remaining 30. So they got the upside, they got the equity, but they're also taking accountability and risk. So if the project runs over and there's losses, then they eat the losses. But you see, just the accountability gives them some form of additional potential income. And then they also have labor leverage because they have a bunch of people working for them. But it probably tops out right there. You can go one level above that and you can look at a property developer. This might be someone who is a contractor who did a bunch of houses, did a really good job, then decided to go into business for themselves, and they go around looking for beaten down properties that have potential. They buy them, they either raise money from investors, they're fronted themselves, they fix the place up, and then they sell it for twice what they bought it for. Maybe they only put in 20% more, so it's a healthy profit. So now a developer like that takes on more accountability, has more risk, they have more specific knowledge, because now you have to know which neighborhoods are worth buying in, which lots are actually good and or which lots are bad, what makes or breaks a specific property. You have to imagine the finished house that's going to be there, even when the property itself might look really bad right now. So there's more specific knowledge, there's more accountability and risk, and now you also have capital leverage because you're also putting money into the project. But conceivably, you could buy, a piece of land or a broken down house for $200,000 and turn it into $1 million mansion and pocket all the difference. One level beyond that might be a famous architect or a developer, where just having your name on a property because you've done so many great properties increases its value. One level up from that, you might be a person who decides, well, I understand real estate and I now know enough of the dynamics of real estate that rather than just build and flip my own properties or improve my own properties, I'm going to be a massive developer. I'm going to build entire communities. Another person might say, I like that leverage, but I don't want to manage all these people. I want to do it more through capital. So I'm going to start a real estate investment trust. And that requires specific knowledge, not just about investing in real estate and building real estate, but also requires specific knowledge about the financial markets and the capital markets and how real estate trusts operate. One level beyond that might be somebody who says, actually, I want to bring the maximum leverage to bear in this market and the maximum specific knowledge. And so that person would say, well, I understand real estate and I understand everything from basic housing construction to building properties and selling them to how real estate markets move and thrive. And I also understand the technology business. So I understand how to recruit developers, how to write code, and how to build good product. And I understand how to raise money from venture capitalists and how to return it and how all of that works. And obviously not a single person may know this. You may pull a team together to do it where each have different skill sets. But that combined entity would have specific knowledge in technology and in real estate. It would have massive accountability because that company's name would be a very high risk, high reward effort attached to the whole thing. And people would devote their lives to it, take on significant risk. And then it would have leverage in code with lots of developers. It would have capital with investors putting money in and the founders own capital. And it would have labor of some of the highest quality labor that you can find, which is high quality engineers and designers and marketers who are working on the company. And then you may end up with a Trulia or a Redfin or a Zillow kind of company. And then the upside could potentially be in the billions of dollars or the hundreds of millions of dollars. So as you layer in more and more kinds of knowledge that sort of can only be gained on the job and aren't common knowledge, and you layer in more and more accountability and risk taking, and you layer in more and more great people working on it and more capital on it and more code and media on it, you keep expanding the scope of the opportunity all the way from the day laborer who might just literally be scrapping on the ground with their hands all the way up to somebody who started a real estate tech company and then took it public.
So don't forget, you guys are now business owners, right? So I would encourage you to carve out some time each day or week or month to learn about how people have built successful businesses, right? And to be able to have those business-related conversations with people that you might be serving, right? Or each other, right? Or kind of industry leaders, right? Because if you're not thinking about the concepts of technology and how those are going to be incorporated into your business, and the concepts of leverage and how those are going to be incorporated into your business, right? I mentioned yesterday, and I'll end with this thought, is I forget which class I said it in, but Marie, if I was to ask you, give me the answer that, well, I'll just see what you say. Who's your biggest competition?
Me.
That's one of three answers, yes. If it wasn't you, who would it be? Does everyone understand the answer to
Zillow?
the me? So the me is like, if I'm dragging all day long,
Can't get out
then
of
I'm
my
not
way.
gonna build big things, right? Let me give you the answer I want you to
Please say, do that.
Another local realtor.
Another local realtor.
Okay. Who's your biggest competition?
Another local realtor.
Awesome. So I would say, yes, that's a possibility, but I would venture to say that if all, 7 people in the room, 8 people in the room, laid out our entire database, I bet you there wouldn't be a single person overlapping,
Well,
right? There's enough business out there for everybody.
only Takesha Cardinal.
Yeah, you better watch out on her.
I've got her. You're out.
Yeah. You're right, I haven't sent her anything in a long time.
We have
realized that we
one,
had that we shared somebody.
we have one overlap.
I would venture to say that that's actually not your biggest competition. I think your biggest competition is something like the Ritz-Carlton,
Oh, okay.
right? You're competing with every service provider out there. And what I mean by that is, let's just say, for example, I'm a seller and you're my potential agent and you're trying to get me to meet with you, right? and we're trying to schedule an appointment, and I say, well, I'm available in a week because I'm going to Colorado and staying at the Ritz, right? Maybe I don't even tell you I'm staying at the Ritz. I'm just going to Colorado, and I'll see you next Tuesday when I get back. So we set the appointment, everything's going great. You go on with your real estate business, I go out to the Ritz, okay? And they know my name when I pull up. They help me with all my stuff as I get out of the car. They got a picture of my family by the bedside in my room already, right? They know my kids' names. They know what food I like, what food I don't like. They got my favorite cocktail waiting for me. They are waiting on me hand and foot for a week, right? Then I come back and you come over and you give me a B-rated presentation, and you don't give me the impression that you're gonna give me Ritz-Carlton service, right? Do you think I'm gonna wanna do business with you?
Probably not.
Probably not. So we're not just competing with the couple of agents that they might be interviewing. We're competing with anybody that is creating an awesome experience, right? So for example, you go to the Ritz-Carlton, or let's say I went to the Ritz-Carlton, I'm coming back like, all right, who's gonna help me get dressed today, right?
Getting off a
And
cruise,
then you-
right? Who's gonna go hand me my nice clean clothes? Like,
That's right.
Who's make up-
And
who's
then
gonna
you
make
show
up my
up and you're
bed?
like, well, you'll have to like, do this, and then you'll have to like download this and then print it out, and then
And I'm
I'll have
10
to,
minutes
I'll have
late.
to fax it to you. It's like, make it easy, right? Remember that especially with the advent of technology, service providers are delivering service at a super high level, at a super low cost, incredibly efficiently, and you're competing with them. Maybe they're not trying to help you buy or sell homes, but they're providing service, and the people you're trying to service get that experience with other service providers.
do you remember, I don't remember the whole exactly the story. You could probably tell it better, since apparently you can tell all my stories better than I
Just,
can.
we're one for one so
About,
far.
okay, so do you remember the story that Amber Rutherford told us in Bold about when she took the children in, they bought ice cream and her son dropped the ice cream cone on the ground?
No, go ahead and tell that. I don't
Okay,
recall that story.
and before he could even start to cry, somebody there with a walkie-talkie had notified the ice cream place, and within seconds, somebody came up on I don't know, a hovercraft or a spaceship or something with the exact ice cream cone to make sure that all was well. And not only that, I think it brought ice cream for everybody. I can't remember.
Right.
He had one and nobody else had one.
Okay, so how
and they
much do
brought
you
ice
think
cream
that
for
cost
them.
the owner of the business? Couple bucks?
Probably.
Do you think that family's ever gone to another ice cream parlor?
No.
Not a chance.
Not a chance.
Do you think that they wrote something on Facebook and tagged them saying how awesome
It's
an
probably
experience it
Mickey
is?
Mouse delivered it on a hovercraft.
Just give them the pickle. There's a video, you remember, or give them give them the pickle or give them the fish, or I forget what the phrase is, but like, I think it's give them the pickle. Just do the right thing. Don't fight them on the little stupid stuff, right? Just give them the pickle. Like, make it right.
That's what I taught
You know,
yesterday.
I used to have a little slush fund that I probably had about $1,000 or so in it. And I'd, put $50 here, $150 there. Just as I was making more money, I put a little bit of money aside, and it was kind of earmarked to just make it go away, right? Just make the shit go away, excuse me. It was like, okay, somebody's fussy because the seller won't fix a backward electrical outlet.
Fix it.
Okay,
Let's do it.
you're panicking, you've called your mother and father and they're panicking, and you're a first-time home buyer and you think the house is gonna burn down and the seller's dragging his
It's gonna
heels
cost
in. It's like,
$10,000 to fix
can
it.
I hire the electrician, please?
Yes.
Would that be okay?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
If this thing was
I'll take care of it.
perfectly fixed and I paid for it, would that be okay?
yeah. Just
Okay.
take care of it.
Great, I'm gonna take care of it. All right, I had a man one time who was buying a new construction house, and he got really upset one day because he went to the design center and the design center lady didn't tell him all of the options for the counter, for the master bath counter. And he found out there was like
Tragedy.
another one that was his wife preferred,
This is
with
like a
with
tragedy.
makeup vanity, like a
Right.
makeup stool thing. So, oh my gosh, this guy was like, the world was caving in because he wanted this vanity for his wife.
Right.
And it had to be like, you had to push out the tub because it was like an inch too long. It was ridiculous. Anyway, every time we talked for like 2 weeks, it was the vanity, the vanity, the vanity, the vanity. And I said, I forgot his name, thank God. And I said, let me ask you a question. And by that time, I'd already done my homework, and I found out it was $500. I said, I'll make you a deal. I'll pay for the vanity, and you never bring it up again. Fair?
Fair enough.
I said, I'm serious. You bring it up one more time, I'm not paying for it. But if you
It's like
keep your
you
mouth shut
negotiate
about
with your
this
children.
forever, I will pay it.
That's hilarious.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like, I'm not gonna let stupid stuff get in the way of closing.
Right.
That doesn't mean I'm gonna bend over every time,
Exactly.
but it means once it gets to the ridiculous stage, I'm putting that thing away. Okay, okay, so I told you that the homework for this week is to set a goal for the number of people you're gonna add to your database and how many minutes you're gonna spend in command, is that right? Or was there one more?
Scripts.
Reviewing scripts.
Oh, yes, okay. So, what I'd like for you to do is post those goals. Let's post them publicly in the WhatsApp group before the end of this weekend. And then we're gonna help each other stay accountable to those goals this week all together.
So
Yes,
is
sir.
this for next week, how much we're gonna do
That's
next
right.
week? Okay.
I forgot.
So
to
the
do
goals
video.
are, we're gonna set a goal for how many people we're gonna add to our database,
Mhm.
and we're gonna set a goal for how many minutes we're gonna spend in command. Notice how I said minutes, not hours?
Mhm.
Just do something,
Yeah.
okay? And then the other is,
How do we-
how many minutes we're gonna spend doing scripts. Yeah.
And so how do we log it? So it would be, you just put the minutes in parentheses?
You mean, how do you report it to me?
Yeah, how do you report it? Yeah.
Let me get back to you on that. We're either gonna report it in the group, or we're gonna report it in front of everyone, or there'll be another, I won't be able to do it through Ramp Up. Let me get back to you on that. Just track it, and I'll ask for it later. Okay?
All right.
Okay, I'm gonna read this because I haven't read it in 2 days. Our mission is to create a community of learning-based and purpose-driven leaders focused together on accelerating the trajectory of our businesses coming and the quality of our lives. Using the powerful leverage of Keller Williams models, systems, and technology, we intend to create abundant lives for ourselves and for those we support. All right? That's only gonna happen, guys, by building up your database and building up your skill. Cool?
Be careful out there, let's roll.
Be careful out there, let's roll.
And for some reason, I just still didn't get it, so can you just send it to me, the WhatsApp?
Yeah.
Invitation, I don't, like, it's not.
What is
there.
wrong
Do you
with
have
What's
WhatsApp?
wrong
Do you
with
wanna,
you,
why don't you
Weirdo?
download WhatsApp?
Did you
Maybe
download
that'll
I
help.
have WhatsApp, yeah.
You do?
So-
Can I send it to her?
Yeah.